That satisfying feeling when your bank balance grows. I mean, when I was younger, I used to feel pretty happy when that happened. And obviously, yeah, you would skip on certain things. You'd try and save as much money as you can or sold stuff. But ultimately, there's a big problem. That money is quietly shrinking. The longer it sits there, the less it does things. And realistically, any savings account these days, you get not much these days in terms of interest. Because let's be honest, the average inflation these days has been pretty high. And the average interest rate, even in the short term, has been higher than normal, but even still, if you're in a retail bank or a traditional kind of HSBC NatWest vibe, you're going to get very, very low interest. So let's go through why we shouldn't be saving, and savings are for losers, and why you should be looking at other things to make that money work for you. Now, first and foremost, we're going to talk about why cash is by far the laziest worker in your entire life. Let's be honest, other than maybe yourself on a Sunday, but we'll get to that in a minute. So during my career in the Air Force, I was a bit of a saver. And realistically, it wasn't through design, it was through accident. I was, living the life of luxury of in the barrack block and having my meals pretty much paid for. I used to do a lot of traveling, like loads. I was in and out the country every 6 months, give or take. And I used to get paid extra. And that would just build up. And I was like, oh, bloody hell. So, yeah, that was a problem. And then I discovered investing. But we'll come on to that in more detail in a second. Because one of my videos recently, I talked about time being the best currency. If you can get your time back, life is much better. Money is always the root of all things for most people, but realistically, I think it's time. And we've talked about many, many different situations why time is important for investing. And also, as you get older, you want to get that time back, certainly retire early and all that kind of good stuff. But on the screen, I've just plonked on a little graph here, which is basically £10,000 in your bank will stay £10,000. And then £10,000 invested at roughly estimated 8% growth would equal $21,589 after 10 years. Guess what? That is a massive difference between feeling safe and actually being financially safe. And another situation we could talk about with money and savings, and it's a good one in a way, financial security with an emergency fund. Now, I see a lot of people, and this does happen, when I work with investors and other people within financial markets. Now, I've done this for over 10 years now. I've built communities in crypto. I know what people's habits are, and it's really funny. But I'm going to give you a few little life stories. But one of them was like when people come to me, certainly in the bull market, certainly in crypto and stuff like that in the past, they'd be like, oh, I've just got like £40,000 equity. What do I buy? I'm like, what the fuck? You've got to think, right? The emergency fund trap goes two ways. One, you don't have one. Or two, it's far too large. And I, again, going to the other side of the spectrum, I've seen people, especially some of my peers and my friends groups and stuff, that have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 grand laying there as an emergency fund just in case the bloody house falls down or if they lose their job. But when you break it down, people realistically need between 4 and 6 months essential expenses, and the rest is just fear money. Fear that money will lose in terms of value, and it really will. That's the problem. So again, a quick example. Your monthly essentials, you're looking at maybe £2,000. Your emergency fund, you could argue maximum here is going to be at least 12 grand for 6 months worth. Anything above that, it should be just literally working for you. You need to give it a job in some capacity. Now, even if that means opening up a Monzo account, which you can do, it's very, very easy to do so, and plonk it in the 3.5% interest account, that's not a bad starting point if you do not want to invest. So yeah, if you want to jump in Monzo, there's a link below. Not a paid ad, it's just a refer a friend thing and you get some freebies for it. Why not? But the big element that is my character downfall is spending. Look what's behind me. That's like a £5,000 racing simulator. I have a home gym as well. And I know that sounds like a bit of a flex, but I do. And I'm going to do a video about it in a bit. But I notice this myself. My other half does it as well. I think everyone does it. When you've got loads of money laying around, for me, you want to spend it. It's like your brain sees a big fatty number and it's like, oh, I need to spend that. Let's go. And that's just the reality of it. So you need to realistically automate the fact that you want that money to do something for you. Give it a job, out of sight, out of mind. Put it in investments or somewhere else, as I say. We'll come on to that in a bit. And you need to pay yourself. Then, as I say, automate the fuck out of it and get it gone. It's simple as that. And as much as financial capital is at risk at any point, it's, as I say, it's already at risk in your own hands, because you might just spend it on stuff that you do not need. And what would you rather have? It trickling your future self into being a bit richer by making it work? I'd rather do that, thanks. But let's get a little bit more serious with something that you may well have seen, or you may not actually know. Your money's still at risk anyways, right? Why? Because it's all to do with insurance. It's all to do with, the Financial Conduct Authority, and they, the scheme that they've got, the financial scheme, only protects £85,000 per bank. Per bank. What? Now, my other half, their parents have sold a big house. They've bought a house, they built it, they've sold it. They're now traveling the world, but they have money. What they've done, they're split up into a number of banks. And you think to yourself, logically, that sounds daft, and it is. But that's the reality of it. You have to put money in places where it's secure. So don't go and find the dodgy, interest rates. Find good banks that are insured. So if it does collapse, I know it's very, very unlikely, but if your bank does a whoopsie and say you've got 120 grand in there, you've got 35 grand essentially at risk. And that's the risk I'd rather not take than having it in the bank, because if it is in stocks, I know, you don't lose it. I know you can lose the value of it, but if you're buying, say, an index fund or whatever, stocks are stocks, they're fully backed, they're fully covered. Whereas money, cash is not. And yeah, if you're saving for a house or a car within however many years, that's fine, keep it safe. But beyond that, as I say, cash is just guaranteed decay. It's just like your teeth, they just rot over time. So the question is, where should you put it? Now, on my screen here is my portfolio, essentially my stock market portfolio. And yeah, personally, what would I do, not financial advice, is have 3 to 6 months of expenses, easily accessed savings. Talked about that before in the previous video. But you also got to think about your goals. What is your next 5 to 10 years maybe looking like, or even longer than that in terms of wealth building? If you're thinking longer term, stocks and shares ISA, get some solid things and just trickle into it, automate the shit out of it and go, way off we go, right? Now on the screen, this is Investing Pro, a fantastic platform that gives you a lot of information. It can be quite boggling, right? There's a lot at you. But if you're looking at certain individual stocks or even ETFs, so just to give you an idea, this is the ETF that I use, which is the All World Index Fund. Now, ignore the glitch here, but this is a really good top performing index fund for the entire market, just to give you an idea. And this is great for a beginner. Now, the reality is, as I've said before on Just ETF, there's a lot of information around why these do well, and mainly because the entire stock market currently is doing pretty well. But over the course of time, you are going to get the average of 8 to 10 to 12% per year on average, and that has been proven over the last 10 to 15 years, even though we will have periods of potential boom and bust cycles. Now, even with the likes of individual dividend paying stocks, if you are interested in those sort of things, this is Drax. Drax is a pretty good stock. It's been around for a while. You've probably heard of it. It's a big, massive power plant. And again, it pays a dividend. And if you want dividends, they're fine. But as I say, everyone's different. Everyone has different time horizons, different risk appetite. I prefer to have an index fund alongside some solid dividend stocks. That's my plan. I want to grow my portfolio over time with dividend growth and allow that compounding effect to happen. But the one thing with investing is all data led. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to make you millions and millions of pounds. It's not. But if you've got the right data on your side, you will find stuff that's undervalued or even stuff that is growing their dividend yield. This is a fantastic platform. It uses a lot of AI and it finds out a lot of information for you. For example, just the minerals and energy, that might tickle people's fancy. But at the end of the day, with stuff like this, you can see certain stocks that may well come onto your radar due to the PE ratio, which is a fantastic way of finding out if things are actually undervalued or overvalued. And you'd want to buy something that's somewhat, you could argue, undervalued and may well grow. But yeah, if you are interested, there's a link below. It's pretty good. But going back to the obvious, savings. If I had £51,000 as savings, right, not as invested, I wouldn't have that 10,316. I wouldn't have the wealth that I've created in cryptocurrency over the last decade. I wouldn't probably have this house. I probably wouldn't have a lot of the things that I own because I made my money work. And that is the financial element of, one, thinking you're being safe by just saving the money and actually making it work. And I know capital is at risk at any point, but the averages and the law of averages say there's a good chance you'll make more money elsewhere than saving it. Your bank balance could be looking very healthy, but you could be actually starving yourself a little bit. But the goal is to build wealth, not cash. And as I said at the start of this video, cash is quite lazy, and it can be very lazy if you don't do anything with it. And if you've not yet done so, watch this video here. This will go through what I would do if I was to start with £10,000.